blowing up an American ship and then lying about it. Betsy didn't like to ask, and she didn't much care. She'd learned in Greece that it wasn't the cause that mattered. Even the best of intentions wouldn't stop wounds from festering and disease from spreading. 2 miles to Tampa, the conductor had said. But that had been an hour ago, before the train had stopped with an abrupt jolt, and here they were still. Not moving. Stuck in the middle of nowhere in an endless night made hideous with the belch of coal smoke and enough shouting and clattering and clanking to keep even the most exhausted awake. "Hey, diddle, diddle, the train and the fiddle," sang the loathsome tot who had been ill on Betsy's skirt, singing the wrong words and then hooting as though he'd done something clever. The child's mother was heavily pregnant and feeling it. As Betsy watched, the little boy bumped up against his mother's arm and, green-faced, weary, the mother lifted her arm so he could snuggle against her, bump in the belly and all. Betsy's eyes stung. With the smoke, the blasted smoke. Good heavens, did no one know how to open a window around here? Rising abruptly, Betsy grabbed her carpet bag off the rack overhead. She didn't care if it was 2 miles to Tampa. What was 2 miles? She'd walk if she had to. If she didn't get out of this compartment soon, they would clap her straight into one of those depressing places where they prescribed cold baths and electrical shocks and called it healing. The pregnant woman lifted her head from her son's. Betsy could see the fine lines the boy's hair had made on her cheek, imprinted on her. "Where are you going?" "I'm finding out what's going on out there," Betsy lied. The woman blinked at her. "With your case?" Betsy pretended not to hear. She swung herself out of the compartment and onto the ground. She had failed to take into account that there wasn't a platform there, so it was a longer way down than she'd expected. She landed hard on her left foot and staggered before righting herself. The ground on the side of the track was dirt and scrub, studded with chunks of coal that bit through the thin soles of her boots. She wasn't the only one taking a break from the train. Half the U.S. Army appeared to have had the same idea. She could see them as dark shadows, as the red circles of cigar butts glowing in the darkness. But even if she hadn't been able to see them, the smell of an army on the move was unmistakable. Unwashed bodies and tinned beef, black powder and oiled leather. Despite the heat, Betsy was suddenly cold through, shivering in her sick, stained, sweat-soaked dress. Her hands felt numb and bloodless. She rubbed them together, dragging in tortured breaths of thick, smoke-clogged air. Florida. She was in Florida, not Greece. 2 miles from Tampa, just 2 miles. 2 miles to go. She drew herself up. She'd been traveling for days, from train to ship to train, enough to make anyone dizzy. She was fine. Fit as a fiddle. She'd walk to Tampa if need be. Betsy flexed her hands, grabbed her carpet bag, and squinted down the track. By the light of the train lamps, she could vaguely make out semi-tropical trees and dense scrub, crowding close to the tracks. And ahead, as far as the eye could see, train after train after train, backed up all the way to Tampa. Well, that was it then. All she had to do was follow the tracks. She'd scarcely gone more than a yard before one of the dark shapes peeled away from the shadows, blocking her path. "Ma'am, may I help you back into your compartment? This is no place for a lady." Ha! She hadn't been a lady in years, possibly ever if her brother was to be believed. Betsy straightened, trying to ignore the way her hair straggled down the back of her neck, half out of its pins. "It's very kind of you, but no. Good night." Those particular cut-off consonants had always had great success in squashing the pretensions of university men, who believed her to be a sweet little thing. Little, yes. Sweet, no. Unfortunately, this man seemed to be made of tougher stuff. "Let me help you back in," he said, and made the mistake of reaching for her elbow. Betsy jerked her arm out of the way. The man stepped back, saying carefully, as to someone delicate and nervous,